Here we go.
I'm good right here.
That's not this type of show. Hi, everybody. Let's get going. Hello, Showgirls. Beautiful in the blue. I always act like I don't see you before the show. Hi, everybody. Oh, Wednesday. Feel a little better. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Let's get started. Thank you. Have a seat. Here we go. Welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday. Please save a lot of that love for my good friend. She's a vision in blue today, Shane Wells. Hello, Shane.
Yeah, you do. Your energy seems a little up.
Yeah, as you guys know, I've been sick literally since December 17th, and I was telling the executive producer Jeff, I started to get bummed because I feel like 90%. So I'm going to go back to the doctor today because I don't know what I have. I think I have bronchitis or something, but I'm feeling slightly, like in the last hour, I feel a little better. I think it's because of the audience.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the audience, yeah. I say that, and what do? I cough. But anyway, you look lovely in the blue.
Appreciate it.
I got to tell you, speaking of the audience, I don't want to speak for the crew, but one of the biggest compliments that I think we receive as a show is when we have like a business on and we hear from that business that all of you watching listen to my suggestion and you go to that place. I got to tell you, it's one of the biggest joys that I get from doing the show because I appreciate that you support the people we have on the show. Well, yesterday, we had my good buddy Raghavan Iyer on, who is an award-winning chef, yeah. And Raghavan talked about his brand new restaurant called Pizza Karma in Eden Prairie, which this pizza is amazing, and it's made with naan and made in these big tandoor ovens. It's right down the road. It's fantastic. Anyway, all day long yesterday, I was getting text messages from my friend who knows Raghavan and Raghavan himself, and they were like, Jason, ever since the show aired all day yesterday, the place was packed with people that were watching, that had watched the show. That had watched the Jason show and then went down and loved it. Well, but here's the funny story. So I just want to say thank you to all of you that watched and went down to support Raghavan. But here's the funny part. So my friend Beth texts me and she goes, you will not believe what I'm witnessing right now. And I said, what? Now Beth works with Raghavan and is one of my dear friends. Beth said, I'm sitting at Pizza Karma between two tables of separate Jason Show audience members. And I guess longtime fans of me and the radio show. And she said they were having an argument. They were having an argument over whether or not I was ever really married to Katie Couric.
Yes, obviously.
Now, if you're new to me, if you're new to the show, you're like, what? The deal is, I'll make this very short. I have loved Katie Couric since the Today Show back in the 90s. I grew up with her. And then when I got the radio show, I did this whole campaign where I tried to get her on my show. I did get her on the show, and we became kind of friends. And I jokingly referred to her as my radio wife, and she called me her radio husband. Well, then when she really got married, I joked that we had a horrible divorce and da-da-da-da-da. So when I refer... So to the people in the left booth or the right booth, I'm sorry to say you're wrong. I was never married to Katie.
This is such a letdown.
Only in my heart. Only in my heart. But Katie, oh, by the way, it was Katie's birthday this week. So happy birthday, Katie. Happy birthday. So yeah.
You guys had still such good friends, despite the split.
I haven't talked to her in a long time. So Katie, if you're watching, give me a call. I want to have you on the show. Speaking of the show, grab your hot cocoa or your wine or whatever. It's time for the hot dish. Here we go. We have good stuff today. Good hot dish. So sit back, relax, and let's get going. Award season, was underway. The Globes a couple days ago, but the biggest one of them all still doesn't have a host. And I'm talking, And just a few minutes ago, Kevin Hart was on GMA, and momentum is no longer on his side to host. because he basically said, I'm no longer interested, I'm over it, to Michael Strahan. And we are 46 days away. 46 days away from the Oscars. But, now listen, now hang with me here. I'm begging you to hang with me until you hear my whole thing. Vanity Fair posted something on Instagram that kind of caught my interest. They posted this. Come back, look at this picture. This is a classic picture. Saying that Carol Burnett and Julie Andrews have tons of experience and a lifetime friendship and should co-host the Oscars. Okay, now, hang with me here. If you're thinking to yourself, really? Okay, for all the youngins out there, thank you, Jeff. For all the youngins out there, Carol and Julie throughout the 60s and 70s hosted a variety of specials. They are dear, lifelong friends. I'm not saying specifically they should host, but hear me out. This is what I'm saying. We are in a big kerfuffle with the Oscars, and they need somebody classic to right the ship this year. And the fact of the matter is, people going, yeah, but if you get someone like Carol, young people aren't going to watch, they're not hip, they're current. Let me tell you this. Let's stop. Let's stop acting like the Oscars should be edgy. Let's stop acting like young people are going to watch the Oscars anyway. They're not. They're not. They're going to watch on YouTube the next day. I mean, I'm just telling you the truth. So why not, if I'm the Oscars producers, why not shore up your base? Why not go for a host that the audience that's going to watch the Oscars resonates with? So maybe not Carol and Julie. Maybe not Carol and Julie, but maybe someone classic like a Steve Martin, someone that's been there and done that can just present someone that can just present a classic show. Because think about it, Carol, Julie, Steve Martin would add an air of grandeur that would bring back that old Hollywood feel to the Oscars. Because again, we need to stop acting like the Oscars are ever going to be edgy. It's not. And we need to stop acting. We need to stop chasing young people because they're not going to watch the show like we did in the 80s and the 90s. They're not. So get a host that speaks to old people like me. Yeah. You don't agree with this, I know.
Well, I don't consider myself like real young.
You are.
But young enough to say I don't watch the Oscars anymore. I watch the clips in the morning the next day, and I watch the pre-show where I can see what people are wearing.
Exactly. See?
Truth.
Shane,
Sorry, it's the truth.
So Shane doesn't care. So if Shane doesn't care, get Carol Burnett. Yes.
Bring her on.
Next in the dish. If she gets chosen, we're going to take credit for it. I'm just telling you. Yeah. Speaking of award shows. What? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Speaking of award shows, you may remember, okay, I love this story. Remember that Fiji water woman who was in all the pictures of all the stars on the red carpet at the Golden Globes? Well, listen to this. At least one star, girl, she ain't happy. Jamie Lee Curtis went off on her Instagram account. This is the picture Jamie posted on her account, saying she specifically moved away from the designated areas where those promotions like Fiji Water were standing because she didn't want anyone doing any advertising or thinking that she was advertising the water. But she still got snapped. Jamie still got snapped with that Fiji woman in the background. And she went on to say sponsors need to get permission from people when they get pictures next to their products. Now, I know. I brought this up on the radio show, and I know some of you are thinking, it's hard to feel sorry for stars. You're like, they get paid lots of money. I'm not feeling sorry for them, but just hear me out on this. First, it is tacky. It's tacky, and it's a little overly aggressive, and I get product placement. I mean, shows like this, TV shows have to make money, so you got to figure out cool ways to do it. That's just intrusive and a little tackorama. And the fact of the matter is, I'm not feeling sorry for the stars. But if Jamie Lee Curtis is in a picture with Fiji Water best be paying Jamie Lee Curtis. You know what I mean? I don't care how much money they make. You know what I mean? Because someone's making money off Fiji, and if you're going to put a star's face next to a product, us, the consumer, is going to think or assume, oh, Jamie Lee loves Fiji as much as she loves Activia. You know what I mean?
Do you think, my question is, do you think it was the Fiji Water girl or actually Fiji Water that was pushing this? Because I kind of wonder if it was actually just her being real thirsty.
Well, maybe
not thirsty for water,
but thirsty for attention.
Like desperate.
I think it was a combination. Fiji Water did pay to be a sponsor of the red carpet, so I think it was a combination of they told these Fiji girls. I don't know why we're calling them that, but the Fiji girls, be aggressive. But that's just tacky. I mean, you know what I mean? What are you doing? Are you just? They'd be like, yeah, like you standing in the background like that. Hi. Yeah. Here, hold some water like you're holding. There we go.
Go ahead, continue on.
Next in the dish, the trailer for the 5th season of one of my favorite shows is out. Here's a clip. Now that was creepy, you just leaving. Here's a little clip. Look at this. 5th season.
We have been parent trapped.
We gotta get out of here. Could the kids not have told us the house sold? Someone's coming. Get down.
Fondue pot.
It seems you're breaking an interring.
Hey, girl.
Who the are you? Who the are you?
You guys see pigs too, right?
Hey, crazy ladies.
You can't be here.
Grace, did you hear something? Yeah, a broken record.
Love it. The new season hits Netflix next Friday. The crux of the show, and I love it, and I know a lot of you love it too, is it's talking about the realities of women aging in 2019 and what the realities they face. And this season is about Grace and Frankie's children, kind of treating them like they can't do anything because they're older. They sold their house from out from under them, and that's why RuPaul moves in, and they're fighting back. They're like, look, just because we're in the 70s and 80s doesn't mean we can't live a life. So that's the theme of this, yeah. I love this show.
How many F-bombs do you think there were in that trailer?
50. Yeah, or 80. Yeah. Lots more to come, everybody. Grab another cup of coffee. We'll be right back. Back after this. Coming up, you hear all the time about those mistake airline fares, like $100 to Europe. But how do you, as an average flyer, take advantage of those deals? Thrifty Traveler is here at the 411. Then he's sticking around to answer your travel questions like, what's his tips for spring break travel? And of course, he's giving us the hottest deals right off the press. And he's the guy behind one of the hottest salons in the cities, and he just got back from working with the stars of the Golden Globes. But things didn't go as planned. His golden story just ahead.
I want to show a video from, so you guys, not only did you win Best Actor, you guys won Best Picture, and there was a moment on stage where, let's take a look at this here. There's Rami, he comes out from, and there's Nicole Kidman, who you kind of, like, hi, Nicole. Anyway, now let's watch that again.
I had not seen that.
Let's take a look at that again in slow motion. And we could. Here, hi, hey, no, look at never mind.
So I thought I could easily go up and say hi, but in a moment like that,
it turned out not to be the case.
Very awkward. I have a feeling this is probably haunting me on the
Yeah, this is going to be around for a little while.
Yeah. That's all right.
Yes. Rami, you are right. It's Rami Malek on Fallon last night. Oh, poor guy. Nicole probably didn't mean it.
She didn't even see him there.
She didn't know, yeah. Nicole. I love Nicole Kidman. Our executive producer, because she claps like this. Like, she doesn't want to mess up her nails, girl. Anyway, more dish. Marie Osmond visited Andy Cohen's Watch What Happens Live and talked about, which, by the way, he's moving his show to LA for a while because of the baby. Well, and Marie talked about about her mom's friendship with Elvis and how that shaped her family's how her family deals with the public. This was interesting. Look at this.
Did you know Elvis?
Yeah.
Really?
I know everybody has their story, but I mean, we have legitimate. I mean, he called my mom all the time. Wow. Loved her. She reminded him very much of his mom. Wow. And so, you know, she'd call and I'd kind of try to hear and she'd shut the door. And we'd go to Vegas and there were always a room full of flowers. Never for us, always for her.
Wow.
And, but no, he was really, You know, honestly, I think the reason our family is more open with fans through, you know, we do meet and greets. You came to Vegas and you're like, come hang out with me. And I said, I have to.
She does an 18-hour meet and greet. It's insane. She never stops talking.
I said I have to, but that's because of him, really.
Yeah.
He got very lonely towards the end. He isolated himself a lot.
Elvis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Fascinating. Yeah. And Marie, I will tell you, Marie's right. She does an 18-hour like meet and greet. One of my favorite stories ever, travel-wise, it had to do with Marie Osmond. It was one of the first times I ever went to Vegas. Because, you know, she does her show in Vegas with Donnie, which she's told Andy this might be the last year. But anyway, we were at Caesar's Palace. We were at Caesar's Palace and we were in the pool. And we might have had a cocktail or two. And we didn't have any plans that night. And I'm in the pool. And right across from Caesar's is the Flamingo. And on the side of the Flamingo Hotel is a giant building-size billboard of Donnie and Marie. So here I am holding my vodka soda, and I went like this. I'll never forget this. I go, let's go see Donnie and Marie. And Colin looked at me like, who? And I go, Donnie and Marie. We went. One of the best shows I've ever seen. One of the best shows. Yeah. Yeah.
Did he think so?
Well, he was a little mad at me because he found out how much I spent for the tickets because I was a little tipsy, so I bought like the meet and greet tickets, which are like $600. Yeah, I pressed the button and I'm like, oh my goodness, per ticket? And then I didn't even get to meet Marie because she skipped the meet and greet because she was shooting a Hallmark movie. Yeah, so it's just Donnie.
Ouch.
Anyway, moving on. Next on the dish. We're getting, speaking of movies, we're getting some viewing numbers in for the Netflix movie Bird Box. You know, with Sandra Bullock? Everybody's talking about this. According to Nielsen, 26 million viewers in the U.S. have watched this movie in the first week. The movie picked up steam around the holidays as the word got out about the Bird Box Challenge, and it debuted on December 21st. Its biggest day came on the 28th. And again, we want to remind you, do not do the Bird Box Challenge. Don't blindfold yourself and drive a mail cart. Don't. Netflix is still having to tell people not to do the Bird Box Challenge.
Just stop. Let them do it.
Yeah, just seriously, don't. Yeah. Let the people do it? What is it, like thinning the herd?
Thinning the
What are you
herd.
talking about?
If you think you need to go around in a blindfold, like.
Yeah, survive. Lord of the Flies, survival of the fittest, I guess.
Yeah, seriously.
Still ahead. Still ahead, everybody. We're opening the Jason Show mailbag, and you guys have quite a few thoughts about producer Ted's review of Bird Box. Hashtag America hates Ted. And later, if you were paying attention to airfares a couple weeks ago, you may have been lucky enough to book some really expensive flights for practically nothing. The Thrifty Traveler is going to show you how to take advantage of stuff like this a little bit later. We'll be right back, everybody. Back after this.
Have you Bird Boxed yet? Like, watched it?
How's this for a flashback, everybody? Listen to this flashback. 10 years ago today, Beyonce's Single Ladies was the #1 song on the Billboard charts last year. Rolling Stone named it the greatest song so far of the 21st century. Well, welcome back, everybody. And I wish you could have seen floor director Evan doing the dance. That was pretty spectacular. Anyway, we love hearing from you about the show every day on social media. We do, even when you hate producer Ted. It's time to open up. It's time to open up the Jason Show mailbag. First up, Cheryl has some advice. I told you about this. I've been sick for about a month for my lingering cough. Cheryl writes, she had something similar and says, in addition to the cough medicine and some cough drops, I used VapoRub on my chest and got a good night's sleep. Give it an old school try. I will tell you, Cheryl, actually, thank you for that. I think we're doing it on Friday. I'm going to do a new list of best thing evers. There is a personal steamer that Vicks has That is fantastic. Thank you, Aaron. And it's about $42. I found it at Target, and it has really helped me for sinuses and stuff. Yeah, so thank you, Cheryl. So there's a little tip. You'll find out more about it on Friday's show. Next, a lot of people had things to say about producer Ted's review of Bird Box. Now, Ted loved it and gave it 3.5 stars. And here's what a few of you had to say about that. Norleen, hi Norleen, says, no way 3.5 stars. Cheesy movie, do not get the hype at all. Mark says, Ted's wrong, movie was junk. 4 out of 10 at best. Okay? And Hannah says, and this is our favorite, Ted, no. I think you've watched too many Hallmark movies and don't know what a good movie is anymore. Yeah. Poor Ted, I'm telling you. Lori had a good suggestion. Hi, Lori. She wants us to have a listing of all the food and drink places that we have featured on the show. Yeah, it's a good idea. She says, hey girl, she says, I live in northern Minnesota, and when I make it to the cities, I'd like to do a food tour of the places that you featured. I gotta tell you, Lori, this is a really good idea. You heard me talk at the beginning of the broadcast about how much joy it brings me and the staff when you guys take our suggestions. We're going to work on this. We don't know exactly how we're going to do this, but this is a really good idea. Maybe it'll live on our new YouTube channel or something, but we will work on this, we promise, and we'll get back to you soon on that one. Finally, Jennifer writes, hi Jennifer. Jennifer says, my daughter Casey and I are going to your show on Wednesday. We work together and are skipping work to come. That's right. It's her birthday. It's her birthday, and all she wanted to do was see you and be on your show. We are your biggest fans. Well, they are in the audience today. So, thank you for, hey! Well, not only those two, but you know, just because it's Wednesday and we're in a good mood, today is Mug Day. Everybody gets a mug today. That's right. Thanks, guys. Don't forget, you can stay connected with our show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And our handle, very easy, Jason Show TV. Follow our accounts right now. And don't forget, I mentioned YouTube. Our new YouTube channel is up. Same-day episodes are posted around 1 or 2 o'clock. Just search for The Jason Show and hit subscribe. Still ahead, the Thrifty Traveler's back, and we're talking about those flights that should be thousands of dollars, but mistakenly go on sale for pennies. And later, fresh off a trip to the Golden Globes, a local nail salon owner, our good friend, talks about getting some A-listers ready for the red carpet, and it comes with a crazy story. We'll tell you what it is a little bit later. We'll be right back, everybody. Back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Our next guest got the shock of a lifetime a couple weeks ago when he found first-class airline tickets that normally sell for $13,000 for less than $1,000. Knowing it was a mistake, he booked his ticket quicker than you can say Nabisco's shredded wheat and crossed his fingers and prayed to every religious figure out there. Well, here with his tips for what to do when you see a mistake fare from thriftytraveler.com, Jared! Hi, buddy.
Thanks for having me, Jason.
Okay. Let's talk, because even if people don't travel a lot, they saw these two stories. Let's talk about two specific ones. First class from Vietnam. This was what, normally a
$16,000 fare.
And how much did it go for?
$900. Right. And I'm sure that still sounds like a lot of money to most people, but if you think about, like, we're talking lay flat seats, champagne, caviar, like things you wouldn't think you could ever have on a plane.
Okay, now.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, look at this. Look who's Mr. Fancy. Now, is that your first studio apartment, or is that the plane, Jared?
You know what, Jason? It's not a private jet like you usually take.
Whatever.
But it's not too bad.
No, seriously, is this the airline, Jared?
So this is Cathay Pacific, which is based out of Hong Kong, and they do fly to the U.S. So I use points and miles to book that. I don't have $16,000.
Yeah.
So, but it's an amazing flight. It's a huge seat.
That looks like a love seat that you're sitting on.
You could definitely have 2 people sitting in that seat.
And that's I see the champagne there, and
I'm 6 feet tall. I'm not like an absolutely tiny person, and it makes me look very small.
That is fantastic. Next, Air New Zealand Chicago to Australia in business class for what?
Okay, so this is one that I think people should really get excited about. It's gone, sadly.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was $1,400, which sounds like a lot of money, but it's normally $6,000. And if you think you can fly, you could actually fly from Chicago to New Zealand. You could stop over for a week and then continue on to Australia. You go to Sydney for another week and then fly all the way home for $1,400 in a lay flat business class seat.
Yeah, again, this is like the is like the primo seats, $1,500. Okay, so those are two fun examples.
Right.
But people watching, let's see they see a mistake. What should they do?
Always book now, ask questions later, because the better the flight deal, the more, I mean, the shorter it lasts.
Yeah.
So you always got to book, then talk to your significant other, because if you don't talk to them, it's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a little problem, yes,
But
yes.
the U.S. Department of Transportation, there's a federal law. Any flight that touches U.S. soil on a departure or a return is cancelable within 24 hours if you book directly through the airline. So it's
Did you guys know that? It's a good,
law.
that's why Jared says, where people laugh, but it's not a joke. Book and then ask questions, and then you can cancel within 24 hours.
Exactly.
That's a good law.
Simple.
That's actually a good law
a law
right
that's
there.
working for us.
Exactly.
Right?
Okay, so do the airlines have to honor these mistake fares?
So that's a great question. The answer is no, they do not. So that's part of the fun. So, you find this mistake fare to, Australia, and you book it, and then you have to wait, usually 24 to 48 hours, and then the airline will release a statement saying, we are going to refund all the fares, or we are going to honor them. And the cool thing, the ones that have happened in the last 2 weeks, specifically that Cathay Pacific, the fancy one, and then the Air New Zealand one, they were both honored by the airline. So it's just super fun. I'm a huge, obviously, geek. I find flight deals for a living.
Yeah.
But to find, a fare that's 95% off that you can do lay flat across the Pacific.
Have you had one that they didn't honor? Have you bought one that had?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's heartbreaking.
I was gonna say that is,
But that's part of the game.
Okay, let's talk. Let's move to Sun Country, because other than the mistake fare, Sun Country has been in the news a lot this week. The Star Tribune just did an article. Give us cut through the giant story. What are your headlines? What should people care about?
Well, the most important thing is Sun Country's offering more routes to more places, which is more competition. Even if you don't want to fly Sun Country, I mean, just the fact that, we were talking about that Minneapolis to Chicago route. Hasn't had very much competition, super expensive for a flight that should be cheap.
I know, if you miss those episodes, Jared and I all the time talk about, for whatever reason, it is supply and demand, as you said, flights to Chicago, which is like 45 minutes, $300-400.
Right, you can go to Europe for less, and that's not a joke.
No, you can't.
It's serious. So the most important thing is Sun Country's, moving in these new routes. There's going to be more competition that should drive down prices, the Delta flights specifically, because we are what I like to call Delta hub hostages here.
Yeah.
80 to 90% of flights are Delta, and Delta is wonderful. We're lucky to be here.
We love Delta. Yes, we do. I do. But so, for instance, like the Sun Country deal to Chicago, they're starting out at about $50 one way, right, to Chicago?
Yeah, they're drumming up. They're getting a lot of press. It's wonderful. It is good to have more routes. And yes, they give these teaser fares to start off with. And then the flights, of course, will get more expensive, but it'll hopefully bring down those Delta flights. And that is the most important takeaway.
Exactly. When we come back, more with Jared. He's going to give us, as he always does, the hottest deals. Plus, he's answering your questions, including questions on spring break travel. We'll be right back, everybody. Back after this.
I know.
Welcome back, everybody. More with Jared from Thrifty Traveler. Okay. We have questions in a little bit. Deals.
All right, let's get right into the deals.
There's the list. There's the list.
Hot off the presses. All right, so it's a beautiful sunny day today. It's a little crisp, though. So thinking of some warm destinations.
A little crisp. I'm wearing the thickest Columbia jacket I own today. Yeah.
You got your parka out.
Yeah.
But we have some warm destinations, and that's important. All right, so these are all flying Delta, and they're all out of Minneapolis, and they're almost all through April. So the big thing we talk about every time, if you can't find them at thriftytraveler.com, or you're not, signed up for our daily newsletter, Google Flights is the one thing that you want to be using to find these flight deals. Google Flights. If you're using Kayak, Priceline, or whatever, stop, use Google Flights.
Yeah.
All right, so these are all Minneapolis, Delta, nonstop, through April. Minneapolis to Boston, 127. Minneapolis to Denver, 106. That's a super cheap
That
one.
is real.
Especially
for Denver,
for ski
that's good.
season.
Yeah.
Minneapolis to Austin, one of my favorite cities, 176. Portland, 176. Seattle, 176. Warm destinations, San Diego, 196. So that's a really hot one.
Oh, wow. That's
big fan of that. Another one, Minneapolis to Amsterdam, nonstop on Delta, 470 this spring and fall. It's a nonstop route. It's a great one, super easy. Amsterdam, one of my favorite cities in Europe. Minneapolis to San Juan, Puerto Rico, 298, with one stop in Atlanta. But
that's not bad.
To Puerto Rico, if you're looking at going somewhere for spring break, that's the number one kind of budget destination because they had some issues with the hurricanes in the past. But they're back up 100%, and it's cheap to go there.
My buddy Alexis from the radio show is heading there in a couple weeks. Right. So, yeah, absolutely. And again, thriftytraveler.com, sign up, or Google Flights. Okay, let's get to your questions. All of you, thank you, on our Facebook page. First up, Kathy writes, hey, Jared, how is the TSA doing an MSP airport? Do we need to go early? What are you hearing?
Oh, so this is a question that everyone is asking right now.
Yeah.
And so 99% of people are getting through in 30 minutes or less.
Okay.
Okay? But sometimes it is a little bit longer. So, if you usually go what most people do 2 hours before, go 2.5, just to play it safe. Because there are some other airports, Minneapolis is doing pretty well, but there are other airports where, so if people don't know, TSA workers are currently furloughed with the partial shutdown of the federal government.
Yeah.
So they're not getting paid.
No.
So some airports are having issues with people calling in sick, not showing up. So Minneapolis, not so much, but just show up a little bit earlier.
Just to be safe, yes. Next, Mary. Hey, Mary, what's the best date to buy spring break airline tickets?
Okay, great question, Mary. So the best date is to buy the actual tickets before February 1st.
Okay.
So the best time has been in the last 6 to 9 months, anytime, because spring break for every different school is different. So all of March has deals.
Yeah.
But you just have to be a little bit flexible on the dates. Maybe take leave on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Saturday instead of a Friday or a Sunday. So try to be flexible, but book always at least 30 to 45 days before you depart. That's the most important part.
Jean writes to us, would you recommend planning your own vacation via websites or using a travel agent?
Okay, so it kind of depends on, how comfortable you are with booking. So I say, follow a website like Thrifty Traveler to find the actual flight deals.
Yeah.
Book them yourself. And if you need help, booking hotels and any other kind of things that you're going to be doing during your trip, there's lots of great travel agents that'll help you out.
I will say, when we did Hawaii for the first time, and I had a lot of goals, we had never been there before. Right. I used a travel agent, and it made our trip so much better because they know the destination and they can guide you in the right direction given your needs or your wants.
Yeah,
so
they're experts, and it doesn't cost a whole lot.
No, people think it, and it really doesn't. Janice writes, she wants to take a weekend trip to Chicago and wonders if added competition from some country will make Delta. We kind of covered this a little bit ago.
We did. It definitely. Anytime you have more flights to Chicago on different airlines, more competition is good for the consumer.
Yeah. Come on, Delta, please. Yeah. Joe goes, I turned 60 this May. Happy birthday, Joe. And want to travel with my husband somewhere special. I have miles for Europe and want an adventure that's simple, fun, and stress-free. What do you recommend besides Paris?
Okay, so Amsterdam, I mentioned that a little bit earlier. It's one of my favorite cities. You can, as soon as you land in Amsterdam, you can be in the city center within 15 minutes by train. Like, it's so easy. And then you can take train, to Paris or to Copenhagen or to anywhere else in Europe. It's central, and if you want to take flights, super convenient. I think Amsterdam is a great kind of base to start a European adventure.
I was going to say a good base point. Yeah. Do you have time for one more, Ted? Okay, finally, Cassandra, what's your best advice for first-time flyers? Is there anything to make the ride more enjoyable and relax my mind?
All right, so the first thing...
Vodka soda. No, I'm sorry. Yeah.
First thing, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Show up a little bit earlier and just, kind of take it easy because, it's a little bit stressful anytime you do something for the first time, especially flying, which can be stressful. Just try to take it easy. If you do start flying quite a bit more, TSA pre-check, which helps you get through, security screening expedited.
Faster.
That can save you so much time and make travel so much easier. So that's something, even if you travel 4 to 5 times a year, TSA pre-check is definitely something you want to consider.
And I will add, I'm not a great flyer. I'm better now, but all kidding aside, I have a whole bunch of little tools that I bring to make it enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like I have noise-canceling headphones, which was a great investment, and I bring my iPad where I load my own movies. and it makes it enjoyable. So I would add, bring some comforts of home so it feels a little more comfortable to you. That's
Absolutely.
Those noise
Good
canceling
advice.
headphones.
Like noise canceling headphones are amazing.
Yeah. Jared from Thrifty Traveler. Check out all the deals at thriftytraveler.com. And I always say it, if you travel a lot, get that premium subscription. Still ahead, a local nail salon is good luck for A-listers this award season. We're going to chat with the owner who had quite a trip to Hollywood this weekend. We'll tell you the details when we come back. Back after this. Thank you, buddy. I'll go like this. Yeah. Welcome back. Wow. Our next guest had quite the experience over the weekend when he and his team were set to do the nails for some Hollywood A-listers. Like, we're talking like A-listers prior to the Golden Globes. But when they landed in LA, their luggage, including all their nail supplies, did not go to LA. And they had just 45 minutes before their first appointment with a star. The whole ordeal is featured in the publication In Style. You're looking at the headline right there. And the guy who survived it all, the owner of Frenchie's Modern Nail Care. Give it up for Ryan, everybody. Hi, buddy. Welcome back.
Hello, thank you.
Okay, so I gave the synopsis there, but fill in the blanks, because I saw this. Ryan and I are friends, so I saw you on social media. My heart fell for you. So fill in the blanks. What happened to your luggage? Did they just lose it?
Well, they didn't quite track where it was, so we didn't know. So we got there, and we're joking, like, oh, of course, it's probably not going to show up. My bag came down with my clothes, so I was like, all right, we're good to go.
I'll be able to dress.
We're fine. We're just waiting for our kit to arrive, waiting for it to arrive. All of a sudden, bags stopped coming down, but it's still going around. So we asked the airline, and they said, as long as it's revolving, you're good. Well, it stopped revolving. We weren't so good. So we were like, okay, what are we going to do? And Desiree, who's our regional manager, it was her first trip to LA. It was her first time working with a celebrity, and she had to get to Rachel Brosnahan's hotel and be there within an hour because she had a luncheon to get to. So we were a little panicked for a moment. We're like, okay, where's a beauty supply store between here and there? Let's go. It was literally, I know In Style said it because it's real. It was like Guy Fieri's grocery shopping games thing.
Yeah.
We went into the beauty supply store and just went like this to every nail supply thing we could find just to get there.
Okay, I'm just thinking of the dynamics because I have flown into LA a few times. It ain't easy to get around LA in the best of circumstances.
No. And we had to get a rental car, and there's no rental cars on site, so we had to take the shuttle, which is a nightmare as it is. So it was a day.
Okay, so did you make, and for those who don't know, Rachel Brosnahan, she's from the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, who ended up winning on Sunday night. Yeah. So were y'all late? Where did you get there in time?
We were a little late.
A little late?
And we were late to start off with because she started glam at 9. We were to get there at 10. We got there at 10:30.
Yeah.
She made it out the door. Desiree pulled it out, mani-pedi, and she was there and made
Here
it to
she
her
is,
luncheon.
everybody. Here's her red carpet look. Was she? I don't want to tell all your clients' secrets. I would think that she would be chill. Was she chill in the whole moment?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is our third time working with her. We worked with her for the Globes last year, the Emmys this year, and the Globes again. And she is like the sweetest human being of all time.
Well, I'm sure, did you tell her the story? I'm sure she was cracking up.
We told her publicist, well, and then of course, it's the Globes. Everyone's super professional. And poor Desiree walked in with a plastic bag from the beauty supply store, and that was it. And so she was like, hey, sorry, but we're going to get you done.
Here's my Bonnie Bell. Yeah.
So she was very sweet and understanding.
Okay, so I did not know this until Jeff told me. I didn't know that you did. He worked with Regina King as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Ryan, I will tell you, even before I knew that you worked with Regina, I said this on our show. Look at that dress.
It's incredible.
Please tell me it was even more stunning in person.
So when Desiree walked out, because she had to wait until she was sewn in and they finished all the alterations, she was like, that's going to be...
Wait. She was sewn into that dress.
Oh, yeah. We waited because we didn't want to make sure that the polish didn't chip or anything. So we waited till all the alterations were finished, walked out and said, this is going to be one of the best dresses of the night.
I mean, look at that audience. I mean, it really was. She is stunning.
Stunning. And another one where we walked out and we're like, everyone wants to be her best friend.
I was just like,
So laid back and easy and fun.
We were all hoping, and the same lame question, I want you to tell me she's as nice as I want her to be.
Yes.
So yeah, she is.
Absolutely.
She just seems like a pro.
She is. I mean, she's been doing it for a long time, and she
was on 227. Yes, I know. A reference Ryan does not get. That's all right. Don't worry about it. Who else did you style?
Our other new best friend, Patricia Clarkson.
Oh. How cool is she?
I mean, so Des did her on Saturday night, went to her hotel, and they just had champagne and watched football with her nephew and just hung out.
So when did you, and again, this is all in style, when did you find out it was in style? Because I almost texted you, I'm like, you have made it into in style. When did you know it was in style?
Well, we talked on Sunday about it because we ended up, after Regina went to do the editor-in-chief of In Style, and I was like, this is too good of a story not to have someone tell.
Yeah.
And so In Style is a natural fit. So we literally finished everyone, all the celebrities on Sunday morning, and got on a phone with the writer, and like literally from outside the Hilton did the interview.
When did you, we got to go, but when did you finally relax?
I haven't quite yet.
I was going to say, yeah. Give it up for Ryan, everybody from Frenchie's Modern Nail Care in Woodbury and Chanhassen right down the road. Go visit them. They're fantastic. And don't forget, you can watch full episodes of our show on our brand new YouTube channel. We post each day's episodes along with clips from the show. We post the same day's episodes around 1 or 2 the very same day. Search for The Jason Show and hit subscribe. We'll be right back, everybody, to wrap things up. Back after this. That is crazy. I did. Welcome back, everybody. Shane's back. Jared's back. Just one more time, we got to give a shout out to Ryan. We were just talking, Aaron and we were talking about can you imagine the stress of flying into LA and you have 1 hour to get to a movie star who I'm sweating thinking about it. So anyway, Ryan, go to Frenchie's. They do great. Get your paws done at Frenchie's, yeah. Okay, so Jared's back from Thrifty Traveler, yeah, and there's always, you guys sincerely, we were talking about this, you guys had great questions on our Facebook page today, so we wanted to try to get in as many as we can. We have 2 more. Next question comes from Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Sarah says, I'm planning a trip to Seattle in June. She asks, how do I find reasonably cheap airfare without having to travel late evening or early morning?
Okay, so great question, Sarah. So the most important is I always use Google Flights to search, like maybe they're using Priceline or Kayak, maybe isn't the best way to find cheap flights. And sometimes just the cheapest flights are at those awful times.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the way it is. So try to be flexible with your dates. That would probably be one of the biggest things. Otherwise, follow Thrifty Traveler, especially if you're a Minneapolis flyer, and we find Seattle deals at least twice a month.
I was going to say, that's a pretty frequent thing. So, but there really isn't a lot of way around that. The cheapest are, you got to wake up at 4 or 5 to get to the airport. Yeah. Mary asks, nonstop flights to Kona, Hawaii in April have held steady at $750 round trip for months. Should I just get them now?
Okay, so I would never recommend booking a Hawaii flight for more than $600. Just because, this is it's because that's very expensive. Yeah. We found flight deals through our premium service, Thrifty Traveler Premium, for $315 in December. So flights do get low, and the big thing is when these flash sales, these unadvertised sales that these airlines do, and that's what Thrifty Traveler does. When we find those, then book them immediately.
Well, I wanted to ask you, are we still seeing the effects? I know it's been a long time. You know where I'm going. Are we still seeing the effects of the Hawaii Tourism Board pushing deals because of the volcano? People still think there's a dinosaur and there's a giant volcano on the Big Island.
It's Jurassic Park. Yeah. So that is definitely still an issue. And then now Southwest is going to start flying to Hawaii very soon. And Sun Country actually now flies to Hawaii on 2 routes. So there's that more competition that we were talking about earlier in the show. The fact that there's more flights, prices get cheaper. But so, when you're looking for these flights to Kona and it looks like it's $715 every day, set up a Google Flights price alert if you have inflexible dates, and if you have a Gmail account, it'll send you daily updates of when those prices drop, and then when they do drop, then you book it. And it's free.
Go to thriftytraveler.com for more. Tomorrow on the show, we are very excited. I call them one of my favorite guests of all time. The band at Yam House is back with us. They're spending most of the show. We'll talk about their recent success and what's coming up, plus a live performance These guys are the best, and you're not going to want to miss this show. But for right now, thanks to Jared and Ryan and all of you and our audience, especially my girls, missing work today. That's going to do it for us. If you're a kid watching that's being bullied, you go out there and be yourself because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Yam House.